Voices Within Range, a collection of poetic narratives. Voices Within Range is a compilation of poetry and prose covering topics such as self acceptance, mental health, family culture, fatherhood, and more. These topics are important to each character and speaker as they now have the permission to be real with themselves and others. In desperate need to be seen and heard, they are expressing themselves without restraint. They are gatekeepers, allowing the world to enter their realities and finally know them on a deeper level. Despite the possible shame and guilt that may arise, they are ready to be vulnerable. Empowered by self validation and self love, they are bringing their voices within listening range and giving people the chance to hear their truth. This book was written by Tierra Holmes, a creative writer and dancer from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who has a profound love for the performing arts. The initial description of this book concealed a fundamental truth. About 80% of the poetic narratives shared are about me. They're based on my personal experiences and observations. You see, I create poetry based on my current reality, my understanding of past events, my visions for the future, my questions about society, my interactions with people, and more. As a creative writer, my goal is to retell what was, what is, and what could be. In the beginning of my writing process, I'm usually reacting to something that triggers me and then compels me to express how I feel. Sometimes I place myself back in that moment and explore how I would react if the moment continued. Other times, new speakers and characters emerge as if they were there with me. But then my characters and speakers begin to dictate the story as if it was never my story to begin with. So, although my poetic narratives start with me and my truth, they don't always end with me. They are simply extensions of me. And I felt it was necessary to add this note because a part of me is still afraid to be fully seen. But I understand that I can't encourage others to be courageous and accepting of self if I'm not willing to do the same. Writing and publishing this book was the ultimate act of self love and self validation. It was an opportunity for me to embrace my ideas and stand behind my own creativity. So, this book is dedicated to the writers who doubt the value of their stories, who wonder if their words are enough, who question if their vernacular is acceptable, who struggle with being imperfect, who fear being misunderstood, and decide to write anyway. You are now listening to Voices Within Range.